we're talking about 3 categories or 3 types of secret desires. What are 3 secret desires that are lying dormant inside of you? Those 3 desires that we're going to cover are fetishes. So fetishes are like these usually these secrets that never get to be discovered. They never get to be uncovered. They never get to come out and play because there's a shadow side to them. There's this thinking that when you are involved in playing out one of your secret fetishes, that you're doing something bad or something evil. And that all comes from conditioning. So we'll talk about that and how to explore those fetishes while letting go of old conditioning at the same time. The next one, number 2, is intimacy outside of a sexual relationship. So this is really important, especially if you are in an intimate relationship and you are unable to express or experience the intimacy that you would like to experience due to the relationship that you're in holding you back because you don't want to feel like you're cheating or like you're going outside of the boundaries of that relationship. So this is a really juicy one we're going to explore. The intimacy you get to experience or that you want to experience that's really authentic to you, regardless of being in a relationship or not. And then the third one is secret desires for your life. So personal desires. Now we're looking more into like your soul's calling. You know, what is it that you're here on this planet to do? And what personas or masks or ways that you are meant to be or should be in the world are getting in the way of you actualizing your personal desires in this world? And can you bring those secrets to the surface and share them with the people in your life? So this can be very edgy because it could potentially lead to the ending of some relationships in your life. So let's start with fetishes, because that is a pretty edgy one too, a pretty deep place to start exploring. So usually when we think about fetishes, we think about sexual fetishes. Sexual fetishes could be, for example, let's say a woman is really into kink. You know, she likes to be tied up. She likes to have her nipples pinched. She likes to be bitten and scratched and whipped. And she gets off her nervous system, gets more stimulation from that kind of interaction. So let's say this woman is really into kink, but her partner, male or female, grew up in a Catholic household or something, grew up in a very religious environment where that kind of sexual encounter is considered evil. It's considered bad. So they have this really big wall up around exploring what kink actually is. And this wall that they have up keeps them in this container of not being able to meet their partner where their partner really deeply desires to be met. Now, let's say that woman who's actually has this kink fetish, she knows this about her partner. She knows that her partner grew up in a Catholic environment or religious environment and doesn't have the capacity to open up that doorway, or hasn't done the internal work to increase their capacity to open up that doorway to be able to explore kink together in a way that could potentially turn both of them on quite a bit in a whole new way. It could bring a whole new level of excitement to their relationship. So what is she to do? What is she to do? The issue is lying in the partner who hasn't sort of done the work around deconstructing the layers of believing that sort of sexual interplay is bad, is wrong, is shameful, and there's guilt around it. So what she can do is just shut that part of her down. She can just close that door on those fetishes and be in that relationship and put on a happy face and enjoy the good things about the relationship. But she'll never get that kink fetish, that secret desire that she has around how she gets sexually turned on. It's never going to be met. So that's one option for her. Second option for her is to cheat, right? Is to go out and find someone else who can meet her and hold space for her to go into that kink exploration, to find somebody who has not grown up with all that stigma and judgment, or somebody who has broken through all that stigma and judgment and also knows that they like that kind of sexual interplay, that kind of sexual sensation. It turns their nervous system on as well. There's something about, you know, when you're doing something that's like considered sort of edgy or bad or wrong, that kind of like is exciting in a way for a lot of people. So that's second option for her. Go out and find someone else, but stay in the relationship. Third option, be honest with her partner and say, I really need this. I'm going to go out and find it. I hope you'll stay with me and I'll go out and find it and come back and we'll still have our normal relationship, but I'll go do that with others who enjoy it and who have the capacity to hold space for me while I enjoy it. Third option, right? So then the fourth option would be then to leave that partner and to go find somebody who she could experience that sort of kink with. So that's just one example of a sexual fetish. Now I'll share with you a sexual fetish of mine. Fetishes can show up like desires, dreams. A lot of times they're gonna be things that you might be thinking about in your mind while you're having sex, either with a partner or with yourself. And those are the things that you're thinking in your mind. Those are the images or the sensations or the experiences that bring you to climax. So for me, one of my sexual fetishes is to be with two men at one time. And I don't know if I want my whole community to know that, Nikki, but there it is. One of my sexual fetishes is that. And something that shows up for me in my life with my partner is there's a dirty talker in here, in this mind, and she likes to talk dirty. And so when I'm in that deeper sexual intimate encounter with my partner, in my mind I'm talking dirty and I'm saying things that turn me on, but I'm not able to express them through my words and through my mouth because my partner doesn't have the capacity to hold space for them. Again, not something I'm really willing to share with my community, but I'm sharing it with you, Mickey, so that you can do something with it, maybe. What happens for me, this is super, super intimate. I don't mind sharing this stuff, but he's much more private than me. So what happens for me is I would like to talk dirty and share those things, but it just makes him go over the edge too fast, and it shuts down the whole sexual encounter much quicker than I'm ready for it to. So unless I'm ready to end the sexual encounter, I don't start talking dirty, because I know that if I do, he'll get hyper turned on and it'll push him over the edge. So it's interesting. That's an interesting one, right? Because we both kind of have the same sexual desire to have that dirty talk in there. Like, he's wanted me to talk more dirty. And so then when I do, it turns into that scenario again over and over, where it just pushes him too far over the edge to the point where he has his orgasm, right? And then it shuts the experience down. So how can I sort of start to express that dirty talk during sexual intercourse with my partner who would enjoy it without having him go over the edge? Here's what I'm coming up with in the moment is I can start to do it earlier in our encounter. And if I'm doing it earlier in our encounter, it's not super up and front and center for me. I'm not really like in that authentic way with it. Those are the words that are coming to my mind early on in the session, but it's early enough for him in the session where he wouldn't go over the edge and he would get turned on faster and sooner. So, and who knows, it might turn me on faster and sooner as well. So that's something to explore and to play with. So when you're looking at your fetishes, your sexual fetishes, first start with what are you thinking about right before you have an orgasm, whether you're by yourself or with a partner. What is the situation that you're playing out in your mind that's like, oh, it's turning you on and it's getting you to that orgasmic peak? Whatever that is, that's one of your sexual fetishes. So once you've identified what it is, how can you begin to incorporate it into your intimate relationship, whether it's with another person or with yourself? How can you incorporate that into your intimate life, into your sex life? So one thing, if you're with a partner, you want to identify what it is, and then you want to share it with them outside of a sexual encounter. So you want to talk to them. You want to talk to them about it when you're not having sex. You want to talk to them about it when you're just taking a walk or having a dinner or, you know, sitting there talking to each other. You want to talk about it when you're not already engaged, because when you're already engaged, that's when there's an opportunity for triggers to happen. So you want to sort of say, hey, I've got this sexual fantasy. I've got this desire, this sexual desire, and I'd really love to share it with you. And I feel a little bit embarrassed. When you say that, it's going to set them up to know that you're feeling vulnerable, and it's going to allow them to hold better space for you as you share with them what your desire is, what your sexual secret fetish is, your secret desire. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun exploration. Second set of secret desires is intimacy outside of sex. So when you have a close relationship with a friend or a close relationship with a family member, close relationship with a client, or even your children or even your dog, I mean, close relationship with another being in the world that you're not having sex with. That's what we're talking about here. So when you're in those situations, there's this level of autonomy inside of you, this autonomy that allows you to be who you are in the moment without any regret, without any hesitation, without any apologies. And when you can show up as that authentic being in all of your relationships, that is when you feel the most whole. And also when those relationships flourish and grow and more of them come to you readily and easily. So if you're looking to create deeper connections in your life, then take the connections that you already have and bring your authentic self to them. Bring your truest, deepest self to them. Now, this can be a big challenge if you're in a relationship with somebody who tends to have a jealous bone. If you are with a partner who has a jealous bone and you meet a new person in your life and you just love this new person, you just love who they are, what they're doing in the world, how they show up, their sense of humor, the way they respond to you, the way they show up for you, you just love them, right? So authentically, you would want to express that to them. You would want to let them know, like, I so appreciate you. I so honor you. I love you. You might want to hug them. You might want to kiss them. You might want to, you know, really bring them into your field in a way that is very intimate and deep, because you feel so much appreciation for them. If you have a partner with a jealous bone in their body, then you're going to probably hesitate to do that because you don't want to trigger a jealous response in your partner. And so when you hesitate, that's when you lose your sense of authenticity. So how can you show up authentically in all of the relationships in your life, regardless of the sexual, intimate relationship that you're in with your partner? That's a good question for you to journal. So something I'd like you to write in your journal right now is, how can I be more authentic with all the relationships that I value in my life, and not trigger a jealous reaction from my partner? Another thing that could come up in these intimate relationships with non-sexual partners is, let's say you're a woman who really loves this man. Like, he's just such an incredible man. You're not attracted to him. Maybe you are attracted to him. Let's say you are. You're attracted to him. You love who he is. You love his sense of spirituality. You love his sense of humor. You love the way that he walks through the world, his sense of confidence. You really just appreciate that he is in the world and that he has come into your life, because he is the archetype of, someone that you really value in the world. And so there he is, this representation of a type of person that you deeply, deeply value, and you're attracted to him. So what could happen in this scenario is that you don't want him to think that you're out to get him, right? That you're trying to get his attention, or you're trying to make him like you, or you're trying to have an intimate sexual relationship with him. You just want to be his friend. You're not trying to, get him into bed. So you just want to be his friend. So this is a way that you might show up inauthentically due to a fear around how he might get triggered or he might respond. And this is usually going to be based on previous experiences. So this might be a new person for you in your life, or if they've been in your life for a long time, you might have seen them react this way before, where you're like, just sharing your love, just sharing your appreciation for them, just letting them know how much you honor and care about them. And they start to think that you're trying to come on to them, and they shut down and they pull away and they move further away from you, which is the opposite of what you're wanting to create with them, right? You're wanting to create more trust and more intimacy and more bond between the two of you. But you've seen this before, where they shut down and they pull away. Maybe it was this person, or potentially a person from the past who did that for you. So in the moment when you have all this appreciation and love and honor to give to that person, and you can feel yourself shutting down around it because you don't want to trigger a negative response in that person, just step back, take a breath, honor them, glow, shine on them, appreciate them from a distance. And then when you come to that person, meet them where they're at. Notice where their energy is in that moment. Are they distracted? Are they present? Are they able to look you in the eyes? Are their eyes darting all over the place? Notice where they're at. Meet them where they're at. And wherever they're at, from that place, you can let them know how much you appreciate them. So if, let's say, you're a woman and you're coming to this man and you just really appreciate that he's in the world, there he is, and you come and you step up to him and you want to just shower him and just radiate all this love onto him, but you can see that he is distracted. He's thinking about something else. He's having an issue in his life. He's ruminating on something that happened yesterday. I don't know. He's got something going on. So then what you'll want to do is meet him there, and in that more compassionate place, offer to support him. Hey, how you doing? It seems like something is, bothering you. Would you like to talk about it? Is there anything I can, hold space for you while you just vent? Would you like to just vent for a moment? Would you like to go for a walk? Just offer something that's going to support that person where they're at. Of course, it goes both ways, both directions, all sexes. This is just, we're talking about human people here. So those are a couple ways to bring your authentic, truest self, which is your secret self, right, to the table when you're coming face to face with another person who might be a dear friend, or they might be a distant acquaintance, or they might even be, a family member. So take a step back, notice where they're at, match their energy, meld with their energy when you meet them, and then from there, offer what you have to offer. You'll be able to see where they're at, and you'll be able to see what they can handle, what they have capacity for. So we're always kind of reading people's capacities. It's very interesting. And then the third one, personal secret desires for your life. Ooh, this is a good one, because this is like your soul's calling, right? So a lot of times we grow up in these environments where we're told that we should get this certain degree, we should have this certain family situation by the time we're this certain age, we should have this certain amount of money, we should own these many certain things by this certain age, and it's all sort of set up for you before you even get there. How are you ever going to find your authentic self within all of those parameters, right? So what you'll probably find, this is common for most people, is that we go through life and we do all the shoulds. We should do this, and we should do that, and we should, and pretty soon our shoulders, these things, are hurting, and our neck and our shoulders, and we're just like, ugh, I've been shitting for too long, I gotta stop shitting. And so then you stop doing all those things that you should be doing, and you start to do the things that you really want to do, the things that you really desire to do. Now, finding out what those things are takes space and stillness. It's when you let go and you go into that deep inner quiet stillness that your truest desires, your secret desires, come to the surface so readily and so very present in your life. And once you know what they are, then it's time to express them to the world. It's time to share them with the people in your life. So for myself, a secret desire that I have is to be able to travel and teach. These are my dreams. So I'm gonna pull that back, Mickey. I'm gonna take that one out of there and start over. Because even though those are my dreams, I'm not totally ready to put them out there due to my relationship. So let's say, for example, you have this really big dream and this really big desire to be in a relationship that you can really go very deeply with in an intimate and sexual way. Okay, let's pull that one back too, because I don't know what I want to say here. So the third one is the personal secret desires for your life. And we usually grow up in these environments where we are supposed to show up a certain way. Like, you should have this amount of money by this certain age. You should have this status in your relationship. You should be married and have kids by this certain age. You should get this kind of degree. You know, all these things that we should do. And what happens is we lose what's true for us. We lose what we truly want to do. We never even sometimes get the opportunity to discover what that is. And when you take the time and the stillness and the quiet to discover what it is that your heart truly deeply desires, and I'll tell you a little secret here, that when you cultivate your own sexual energy. So roll some orgasms, get a few orgasmic energy rolls rolling up through your body, and then have your final expression of your orgasm, have the full release in that space, in that quiet, in that stillness. If you stay there long enough, one of your desires is definitely going to come to the surface, is going to bubble up to the surface. So let's say, for example, that you've been on a track, like a high-powered career person. You're head of the class. You've gotten your degree. You're a CEO of the company, and you've been kind of burning the candles at both ends for 20 years, and your adrenals are shot, and you're exhausted. But you're in this hamster wheel. But you got a lot of money, but it's like you're not really happy, And so in that situation, take some time and some stillness and some quiet. It might be more than one evening. You might need a week of space and stillness and quiet, or a month of stillness and quiet, for these secret desires, these secret dreams to come forth in your life. And maybe what bubbles up is that you really have a desire to do some incredible humanitarian work, that you really want to go and help eradicate children from sexual slavery. Maybe that's something that comes up for you. But how do you move out of this life of what you've been running through and the day-to-day daily grind that you've been doing for the last 20 years? How do you move from that to going out and actualizing that secret desire, actualizing that secret dream? It's very similar to how you were with your secret fetishes and your partner. So it starts with understanding what those desires are, understanding what those secret fetishes, those secret life longing, deep inner callings are. What is that inner calling? Once you know what that is, then you can start to make plans for that to happen. And so if life is going in this direction, but you would like it to start going in this direction, you want to go a little bit more internal on the inside instead of just kind of ripping it all apart. You could do that. You could definitely do that. It's a bit of an explosion and it might be quicker. That's definitely a possibility. Some people enjoy that, doing it that way. Or you could be a little bit more strategic and a little bit more planned and continue to do this life while setting up what's next for you on the back end. So going more inside, doing the back end work, what needs to happen, what needs to get in place in order for you to make a successful, smooth transition from this life to this life. I know for myself, one of my very deepest soul's callings is to be in Europe teaching Taoist sexual practices and to be collaborating with other like-minded teachers. And so in order for me to do that, I've been doing 20 years of having a practice, living in one place, seeing patients in person. It's going to be a transition to go from that life of seeing patients and doing my day-to-day, making sure everyone has their herbs and their protocols and all that stuff, transitioning into more teaching online, more online coaching, and being able to then travel and take that offering of Taoist sexual medicine, which is such a deep and profound and incredibly powerful medicine, and to weave it into the teachings of other teachers. For example, collaborating with the voice teachers, collaborating with other spiritual teachers, collaborating with yoga teachers, collaborating with other functional medicine practitioners or Chinese medicine practitioners. And finding those people. In order to do that, I need to go to those places in Europe where I desire to teach and build more community and meet them and have those collaborations and have those interactions and create a new life moving forward. So for that smooth transition to happen, some certain practical things need to be set in place. So I am currently setting some of those things in place and putting that dream into motion, putting that secret desire into motion.